It is an exciting time to be interested in big cubes because there are so many good options out there. We have the QiYi series, the MeiLong series, the YuXin Little Magic series, and of course, best of all, we have the DianSheng series. So I'm going to have to say, starting off, the best big cubes are the DianSheng series. There's no debate about this. The best big cubes are the DianSheng series. It goes from 8x8 up to 15x15. There's no 14x14 at the moment for some reason, but up to 15x15. And it just turns really well because it's got magnets and it's actually designed for that. However, they are expensive. So the 15x15 is £270. That's quite a lot. But it is a massive cube with a lot of pieces and it's all magnetized, so of course it's going to cost quite a lot. They do have an 8x8, which is only £58. That, of course, is a lot cheaper, but it's still a lot more expensive than other 8x8s and basically any smaller cubes, except can 3x3s, essentially. DianSheng did also release a ball core version of their 8x8 and 9x9. Which is only a few pounds more expensive. However, I'm skeptical of them. For one reason, it just slows the cube down. It does reduce the risk of pops though. And I think it's best to remind people right now that big cubes can pop. If you are not prepared to deal with pops, don't buy a big cube. Or if you do, put it on insanely tight tensions so that it can barely turn at all. Obviously, I've managed to solve big cubes without any pops. You just have to turn carefully and fast. You just have to turn accurately. You watch and you Zhang, you can solve an 8x8 in 3 minutes 19 without it popping. Because you can just turn accurately. And that's what you need to do. But if it does pop, you should be able to deal with it. Maybe try reassembling a 6x6. Then you can learn to do it. But regardless of that, the DianSheng Big Cube series is essentially the best. And I would recommend it if you've got the budget to be buying a magnetic 8x8, 9x9, 10x10, 11x11, whatever you want to fill the gap, however big you want to go, because you might think, well, I've got up to 7x7, but I kind of want an 11x11 because it's big and it'll be fun and it'll take a long time. Or maybe you just want an 8x8. Or maybe you do want to go up 1x1, 8x8, 9x9, 10x10, 11x11, and just keep creeping up until they just get so expensive that you don't want any more. But if you aren't willing to spend at least £58, I mean, they're basically all double the price of a non-magnetic version for the DianSheng ones, at least. Slightly less for some of the bigger ones. Then you can get some of the other ones, such as the QiYi, YuXin Little Magic, and the MeiLong big cubes. These are all basically the same price for 8x8 to 11x11. And we can start off with the QiYi big cubes. So these are slightly larger than the DianSheng ones. They turn reasonably well, but it's not great and they don't really have much corner cutting. It's basically their budget plastic, just like the QiYi Warrior S, the QiYi S2 cubes, which you might have tried. They come cheap sometimes. And that goes from 8x8 to 11x11. QiYi have not made any cube bigger than 11x11 yet, but their 11x11 is reasonable. It's not a bad cube at all. It's obviously not as good as the DianSheng 11x11, but it's fine. And then you also have the MeiLong series. So the MeiLong series goes from 8x8 to 13x13. I think I only stock up to 11x11, but obviously I can get in the 12x12 and 13x13 as well. These cubes maybe turn slightly better than the QiYi series, but I have noticed some issues with pops being slightly more common and the pieces being a bit more fragile and more likely to break. So I think in general, I would go with the QiYi big cubes over the MeiLong big cubes, especially considering they're the same price. The YuXin Little Magic is the other interesting option. So the YuXin Little Magic big cubes go up from 8x8 to 11x11, and then under the YuXin Huanglong series you have a 12x12 and 13x13. These, I think, turn better than the QiYi or the MeiLong series. The only trouble is they are pretty big. Significantly bigger than the QiYi and MeiLong, and even bigger than the DianSheng ones. But they do turn better, and that's just pretty much obvious. Although I have noticed some layers just get a bit jammed sometimes. But in general, they turn a whole lot better. So if you're ready to handle a really big 8x8, or 9x9 or 10x10, 11x11, then I would recommend the YuXin Little Magic ones. However, there is a bit of an issue with the caps popping off. Obviously, these can be glued on, like it's not that difficult. Just put a bit of super glue, the cap stays on, you don't need to ever take it off. I don't know why they put design like that where it can happen, because it's not necessary to ever really take the caps off. But yeah, that's one issue. And obviously, YuXin Little Magic goes up to 11x11. Then you have the YuXin Huanglong 12x12 and 13x13, which I do have in stock. So what about cubes I haven't tried? Now, this is the thing. I don't know for certain, because I haven't tried them. And I don't have the budget to go and buy a 21x21, leave it on my website and hope somebody buys it. I'm just not willing to do that. But I can order cubes in pretty quickly for people if they want them, in the UK especially. I can order cubes in from China, I can get them within a week or two. YuXin Huanglong also have a 14x14 and a 16x16. These are probably going to be around the same price range as the DianSheng ones though. That's kind of the issue. So 14x14 will probably be about £200, 16x16, $350 maybe. I'd probably have to sell them if I did. So I'm not stocking them, but if you want one, I can order one in. Shengshou also have the whole series, all the way up from 8x8 to 19x19. They don't have an 18x18 yet, but they have a 16x16 as well. Again, I haven't tried them, but I assume they are okay, but not great, especially because they're all pillowed. So pillowing was one thing that they used to do with big cubes, and they don't really do it anymore because they've got the technology and it's no longer necessary. So this, of course, is a 15x15 that is fully cubic, the first to be so. But it's easier to design a 15x15 where the outside is slightly pillowed. And all of Shengshou's big cubes, essentially, I think they might have released some tank series for like 8x8 to 10x10 that's not pillowed anymore, but regardless, most of their big cubes are pillowed, which just makes things a bit more difficult. And of course there's the MoYu 21x21, which is also pillowed, and I did sell to someone last year. I can get a 21x21 for around £1,200. I can get a 19x19, all of that. But I don't know how much I can recommend them because I haven't really tried them. So yeah, that's it for big cubes. Obviously there's also big minxes, which is a whole nother thing, but similar in many ways. So yep, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and you can buy all of these big cubes at speedcubing.org.